show. I got back from New York at 7 in the morning. I drove home listening to Oasis and Crowbar all night, and I feel like fucking shit. So I'm glad everybody made it out this early. I'd like to give a shout out to everybody from DC, Maryland, Virginia, Connecticut, Massachusetts, New York, and anybody else who came out to the show. This is for all of you. It's called fucking Violence. Yo, I'd like to say thanks to all the bands who played this show with us. Give, my favorite band in the district. Standoff, Take Control, Direct Impact from Massachusetts. I'm fucking psyched everybody came out, and I'm psyched everybody's having a good time. This is our record release show for the No Identity 7-inch that just came out on Triple B. And we're going to play a couple songs from it. Songs from it. This one's called Force It Down. Thank you. Everybody say hey to Ian on guitar over here. He's easy to spot because he's the only member of the band whose BMI is about average. This is his first show with us, and we're very happy to have him in the protester lineup. All right, this next one's called Bloodline, and it's a straight edge song. supported of us, all of my bands, all the new wave of DC hardcore for years, and it's awesome. I love living here, and I love everybody here, so thank you. This is a song that I wrote before I moved here. It's called Check Your Skies. See you next time.
This is Zach at Moshers. I got Protester in the room. Got standoff dudes here. I got Dan, Brendan, Oliver from Unified Right, Connor, Nick from Standoff, and Ace from Standoff. Say what's up, everybody.
Hello.
Right. You know, you be good. So the setting right now is the Newton House living room. We got some Dr. Pepper, some orange soda, 6 boxes of Little Caesars hot and readies. Oliver chose to eat salad for some reason. I don't know.
He's too fat.
Nah, he got down on some pizza. He's chill. So we're gonna do an interview. So I guess first thing I was gonna say is like Mindset's on their way out, you know, and they were like kind of top of the top for the straight edge hardcore in America. I'd say Protester is about to move in and take the throne.
We're not trying to take anything, man. Nothing. Yeah, no, it's crazy that they're breaking up after being around for 8 years.
Something like that. Yeah, I remember seeing them when they were
2008
to 16. Is that what they said?
Yeah, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
But they did a lot.
Shit, I remember getting that Anti-Wastelands demo in like 2006 or something.
Did Anti-Wastelands ever do a record?
Nah, no record, just demo CDR.
I saw a bunch of I saw a bunch of anti-wastoids, like, market writing and shit on, Charm City on Space the other day, and I was like,
Hell yeah.
Cool, so Protester kind of started, when did Protester originally start? Was it back before you moved to DC, like in North Carolina? Was this like an idea that you had that you wanted to do down there, but just never came to fruition?
yeah, there are like, you know, scratch like guitar recordings that I did when I was like 18 years old, living down there and stuff. And I was in a band at the time called Last Words that sort of had similar vibe, like Exclaim sort of stuff that I was writing music for, and we were sort of coming to an end. So I was like, okay, I want to keep doing this, and I wanted it to be a straight edge band. But nobody down there was really straight edge, so I didn't really know if this could even be a thing, which is why, you know, the first few recordings were just me playing all the instruments and stuff. But I recorded the demo about 2 or 3 months before I moved up to DC, which would have been early 2013, and got a band together, and here we are today.
So,
all of our fat glory.
When you talk about how you got up to DC, how that happened.
So, I was in school in North Carolina, and I was just like mentally checked out. You know, I wasn't really like I was sort of in a rut in my life at the time, and I knew some people up here like Brendan and Dan and Robin, who play in Protester, and like basically just had friends up here and had an opportunity to move into Newton, and took it and thought it was going to be temporary. Like I was subletting a room, and I thought it was just going to be for a few months, and then I'd move back down, get my shit together. But I liked it here a lot, and I stayed. So here I am.
So you knew some of these dudes that are in Protester now before you moved up here?
Yeah, definitely not as well as I do now, but we were definitely like friends. Like our bands would play together and stuff.
I think
like,
Bard played with Last Words.
Yeah, Bard played with Last Words. I played Brendan's band Vile Fate's first show when you were what, 15? With Nick Hinch of Standoff fame, Daniel Pena of Standoff and Pure Disgust fame.
Nick, what'd you do in Vile Fate? You sang for a bit?
No.
I tried to play drums. I bought a drum set from some kid in school for $20.
Yo, and it was sick because when we showed up, it was actually Ace and I's old band played that show, and we showed up, and Hinch was like, remember when you were like, how do you put the hi-hat on?
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking sick. And I remember so specifically because, like, you were 13, 14?
I was a freshman in high school.
So, like, 14? And DP was 13, right? And then you were 15.
Yeah.
And you were wearing a Left 4 Dead shirt. Hinch was wearing an SSD shirt. I don't remember what DP was wearing, but I was like, holy shit, these kids...
He used to either... He had, like, 3 shirts. He'd only wear a crossed out shirt, an Infest shirt, or...
It was probably an Infest shirt. I'm pretty sure it was an Infest shirt, right?
We covered Infest,
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, I remember. It was My World, My Way, and then what was the other
Drugs
one?
Me.
Dude, fucking so sick. And I remember Ace and I were watching this band, like, because, like, especially at that time, like, in Raleigh, there was very few young people involved in punk and hardcore. It was, like, us, a couple of our friends. Most of the venues were, like, 21 and up. There wasn't much of a youth scene, and we saw that, and we were like, this is so fucking sick. And then we met them all, and they're all fucking douchebags. So, you know,
The rest is history.
yeah.
So Protester, the lineup when you guys started, like up here, like you had recorded the demo and everything, but you just needed the band to play live.
Mm-hmm.
The guys that you picked for like the first couple of shows and stuff like that are definitely different from now. So can you talk about like the lineup changes, like who was original and where we are now?
Me and Robin are the only two that were in originally. We were originally a 4-piece, and things just kind of worked out the way they did, and now we're a 5-piece. We got Dan. You joined like what, a year ago? September 20.
Was it? Yeah, it was September.
August or September 2015.
Yeah.
You joined like December.
Correct.
Yeah, December.
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah.
24. Yeah. Well, Brendan joined because we were doing this tour, and Dan couldn't play guitar for it, and I was like, oh, I don't like. We got to get somebody to do it. So ask Brendan. You know, you're in the band, and we live together. Hello.
We do.
And then Ian is our most recent addition. He plays guitar, and he joined 2 months ago.
Yeah. That's right.
Something like that. He has long hair.
He has long hair.
Yeah.
So this is
He's skinny.
Yeah, that's true.
this is forthcoming LP lineup.
Yes.
And
Yes, it is.
I know Protester up until now has pretty much been a one-man band. Will the LP see contribution from like everybody else
Yes.
in the band?
It's going to be full band, and I'm fucking psyched about it.
And what label is that coming out on?
Trash King Productions, who did our first 7-inch. It's Gene and Ritter, who do Joint Custody, for those who don't know. Fucking badass store, badass label.
So what can like the first 7-inch they did was on Trash King. I remember when I got some from you wholesale, they didn't even have a catalog.
Yeah,
We were like, what's the catalog number? Like we don't even.
I was actually going through my pictures on my phone the other day, and I saw the screenshot of Ritter's text that I sent to you, where it was like, I was like, yo, what's the catalog number? He was like, I don't know. And I was like, all right, cool. So, yeah, but I think hopefully this one has a catalog number. If it doesn't, who gives a shit? It doesn't matter.
Yeah, be lucky if you get a lyric sheet.
Exactly. Hopefully there's a lyric sheet.
So going from Trash King, and then you guys put out your next 7-inch, No Identity, on Triple B. Do you guys feel like you got like a little more avenues opened up for like playing different shows, doing different kinds of touring, maybe exposed to like a different kind of crowd through that?
Yeah, like 200%. Like after that record came out, I think the reception was like pretty positive, and I don't know about you guys, but I definitely noticed like immediately that we were getting better reactions when we would play, and like more kids knew the words, and like I think it was just overall like just more exposure, you know what I mean? Like we sold a good amount of that first record, but I think just the Triple B has like a certain name recognition that like a lot of kids will check out whatever Sam puts out, and I think that's helped us a whole lot.
It's a brand that a lot of people can trust.
Absolutely.
How many were pressed on Trash King?
1,000.
And Triple B was 1,000 too?
Mm-hmm.
So I imagine the LP will also be 1,000.
Yeah, I think it's pretty in this day and age pretty difficult to sell like more than 1,000 records unless you're Turnstile or Boston's Friend. I know when Gene and Ritter said they were pressing 1,000 of our first record, I was like, what the fuck you do? Like, are you serious? Like, these are gonna be like sitting in the fucking like shelves in Joint Custody for like 20 years and no one's gonna buy this shit. But worked out.
So with the LP coming up, like on the past 2 7-inches, like Protester is a very straight edge band, and it's very apparent through your lyrics and song topics and stuff like that. With a record that's got 5 more inches all the way around, can we expect more of that?
Absolutely. was it when we were riding back from Wilkes-Barre, and I did some like demos for LP songs with CC at the Pain Cave. And we were listening to them in the car on the way back. And Dan, you were like, "Wow, these lyrics are like more straight edge." Yeah, or something like that. And I was like, I didn't think about that, but yeah, I'm down. So, I only have words for I think 3 songs from the upcoming record, but that's definitely going to be a theme that is going to be touched upon more than a little bit. So
That's sick, man. So, like, when is the LP supposed to come out?
That's a question I can't answer right now.
TBA 2016.
Yeah, we're gonna try and start learning some of these songs. Like, the whole thing's written. I think, we're gonna try and learn some of these songs pretty soon, before the end of the year, and then hopefully record it in the first half of 2016 and get it out by the end of the year. That's the plan.
So we can expect maybe some new songs played live, maybe towards the end of the year.
Definitely.
Maybe around America's Hardcore Fest.
Yeah, absolutely. America's Hardcore and FYA, I think we'll be playing at least a couple new songs. So.
Some of the songs from the most recent evidence.
Yeah, some of those that we haven't played too. Yeah.
Yeah.
We played the title track from the No Identity 7-inch for the first time yesterday, actually. Which was cool because we hadn't done that before, and there's like one other song on the record that we haven't played live yet that I'd like to do. So there will definitely be some set list changes coming up that I'm excited about.
Very cool. So, now we've talked about, like, the records, let's talk about, like, I know everybody in Protester, and we talk about music all the time, and stuff, and obviously, like, we're all very into, like, straight edge hardcore, and that's, like, definitely what fuels, like, I feel like that's a big influence for Protester.
Yeah.
But, I know that your guys' musical tastes are very, like, straight edge hardcore isn't your, like, only, like, music, so do you guys take any influence from, like, things outside of, like, hardcore for the band? Like,
yeah, absolutely. Like, when I was writing No Identity, there were definitely times when I would, like, throw in something where I was like, that's a part from the Slayer song. Or, like, something like that, you know what I mean? Like, because, I'm a huge metal fan, and I feel like maybe we're not the most metallic band, but there are definitely subtle influences from, my metal history that get in there sometimes, and, like, I don't know, I feel like everybody in the band has their own style of playing. Like, I know if you ask Robin, our drummer, about, like, what drummers he likes, he'll name 2. He'll name Trey Cool from Green Day and Rabies, and those are the only 2 he'll say. And, like, what do you guys fucking take influence from when you play? I know fucking the Smiths.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Smiths is a huge band for me, and my bass playing. Like Andy Ward, probably my favorite bass player. Obviously, we don't really have a sound of the Smiths, but just like learning, what scales and where to play on the neck and stuff like that certainly plays a part in that.
Doing fills and shit too.
Yeah,
like,
fills. Yeah,
for sure.
Phil's a big where I learned a lot of that stuff is from Jason Black, the bass player from Hot Water Music. That's been a huge band growing up, and he's a crazy bass player, and just like learning those songs when I was like in high school and stuff like that, still to this day is like how I feel comfortable on the neck, like playing fills and stuff like that. So.
What about you, Big Brendo?
I would say like Great Games and Bubba from Boy. I was really influenced with like Holly Boy's shit I do. And it's like fucking around the guitar, so don't worry about how it sounds usually. But also just anyone who makes jazz strokes.
That's how fucking do. Yeah, that's how you do it. And fucking, and like Ian, is like into like Swizz and Soundgarden and lots of like riffy shit and Fugazi and all this shit. So I think like everybody brings like their own sort of unique vibe to when we play together. But as far as when I write, it's very like, I try and take influences from like the early Boston bands, Last Rites, SSD, DYS, and then like obviously early New York hardcore, Agnostic Front, Cause for Alarm, fucking, Feuds, Antidote. But then another really big influence for me is middle era Poison Idea, like Kings of Punk, War All the Time era. That was fucking sick. There was a piece of pizza tossed across the room, just for the listeners out there. Yeah, middle era Poison Idea is fucking enormous for me, as is like Burning Spirit. That one wasn't as good. Like Burning Spirit's Japanese hardcore, like the real fucking fast. Like, Jesus Christ, man, what the fuck is going on?
Pizza's flying around here like a Ninja Turtles cartoon right now.
Yeah,
Straight
like,
up.
yeah, I don't know. I think it's Protester is very much a reflection of what I listen to. So I'd like to think that way anyway.
Sick. So, what are you guys planning for like 2016 touring? It's like, I know you guys are going down to Mexico. Which
Yeah.
is like that. Is that going into 2016? Or
No,
is it just like
that's in a
December?
straight up month. We're leaving on the December 14th, 13th. Yeah. So we're going to Mexico with this badass straight edge band from Olympia, Washington called Odd Man Out. And I think none of us know how it'll go. We're really curious. I think it's gonna be badass, you know?
Did you see the movie Sicario?
No, I haven't. But it sounds like I don't want it to go that way.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'm gonna eat a lot of tacos, so
I'm gonna walk flying.
that'll be badass. Yeah, we're gonna let everything loose in Juarez.
The craziest memory I have about Mexico, which was also my first exposure to Mexico, is when I was on tour with Gibb and Wayne Judah in like summer 2009. There was a show in Tijuana that night, and we were in San Diego, so we parked the van on the U.S. border, like the U.S. side, and walked across the border through like the turnstiles.
Do the turnstile. I've done that. Yeah,
Yeah.
you like literally walk.
You just literally walk
Did
across.
you do that too?
I did that too. Yeah, with
We had-
permanent in
holy
2007.
shit.
Yeah.
We had one little suitcase of merch that John was just like wheeling across the border, and then it's like, honestly, just becomes very quickly like third world country, like straight up Mad Max style, like.
With the exception of the McDonald's. And
There's like
other than that,
one thing close to civilization is that McDonald's, but like everything else is just like totally just crazy, man. Like, you know, like. But anyways, we're walking to the gig. Like, we literally walked across the border in like many miles to get to the gig because we didn't want to take the van out or, you know, people have some like stories about getting broken into and shit. But I'll never forget this. Like, we're walking and there's just a guy, and he's like fooling around with like some big black trash bag, like trying to like hold it, and like you could see like there's like, it looked like we were from a distance, but there was like something in the trash bag that was like moving, and like he's like pushing up, like putting over his shoulder and stuff like that, and then like we get closer, and like he drops it and a fucking dog pops out and starts running away. Like,
Jesus
Holy
Christ.
yeah,
shit.
we were like, holy shit, talk about some for real street move, like.
Dude.
Yeah, so that, like, after that, I was like, okay. Welcome to fucking Tijuana.
Yeah, we're not playing Tijuana on this tour. Right? We're not going that far west.
Yeah.
We're starting in Austin, but hopefully we see some dogs and dags and shit like that. Hopefully we see.
I'm actually gonna see like.
Well, hopefully,
cartel.
Dude, they were
we
like,
see McDonald's.
Who you see some McDonald's?
Yeah,
in the
hopefully
back,
we'll
that'd
see
be
some
cool.
McDonald's.
Not native dogs.
Like Bubble Boy, but it's just McDonald's in a big plastic bag.
We'll just stay in McDonald's. We don't have to see crazy shit.
Nah, dude, if you see crazy shit in McDonald's in PG County, you definitely will in Mexico.
But the cool thing is, I bet it's like you go to McDonald's in Mexico and it's just like pristine and there's nothing bad ever happens. Like everything's clean and they're just so friendly and nothing weird.
The ice cream machine's never broken.
Yeah, unlike the one by our house.
Yeah.
Everything on the breakfast menu is available all day.
2 McGriddles, 24/7. Incredible. Dude, remember, Brendan and I went to McDonald's by our house the other day, and the one on New York Ave,
Oh, yeah.
it's always out of ice cream.
Classic. Yes, it is.
It's always out of ice cream. And Brendan was like,
Here's a French
yeah,
fry.
I'll get some French fries, and the guy goes, no ice cream. And like, he said it so angrily, and then we were just like, yeah, that's fine,
No
man.
problem,
Like,
man.
yeah, no worries. Like, if you don't got it, we don't want it.
Hey,
you
I'm
know?
not bummed if you aren't.
But then,
The ice cream made of fries or something.
dude, that shit was awesome.
So Mexico tour, and then what's in store for touring in 2016? Anything in the works?
We're doing a 2-day Florida tour. Huge 2-day Florida tour. We're playing Miami. It's a fucking badass show with Red Death's playing, Pure Disgust, Standoff, Ice, all from DC, and then Blistered and Day by Day, and it's at my favorite venue, Churchill's. It's fucking awesome.
Hell yeah.
And I'm really excited for that. And then the next day we're going up and playing FYA Fest in Tampa, and that's gonna be sick.
You
There's a
gotta save up for that.
save up for
I
that
don't know
tour,
how I'm gonna survive.
dude. You'll be all right. Trust me. But we're
There's
gonna.
so much cool stuff to buy.
All right, Oliver, give me your insight on Taco Bus. How do you feel?
Bad.
Dude, fuck you. Look,
Three
Taco
Boys
Bus.
Diner.
Look,
Taco Bus sucks.
look, Taco Bus. I
Undercooked
love Taco Bus. Taco Bus is fucking badass, and I've talked to mad people who are like, "Oh, that shit sucks," but don't listen to them.
Yo, here's the thing. Taco Bus used to be an amazing place, but they've like gone under new ownership. They're trying to expand. They're cutting corners. Fucking falling short.
I'll say
Quality's
this.
gone downhill.
The rice, or no, the rice is fine. The beans suck. The beans are garbage, but you don't have to eat the beans.
The best part about Taco Bell is the Guy Fieri or Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Everything is the best part.
Yeah,
Best part
there's
about
no
Taco Bell is
bad
that
part.
It's not Taco Bus. Best part about Taco Bell is the Guy Fieri stencil and signature.
Okay, fair enough. That's pretty cool. So is the chicken burrito. It's fucking badass, and I'm gonna eat there like 4 times.
I
So,
can't wait, dude.
Someone's got to
Dude.
I've never been there.
oh, it's great. Don't listen to anyone except me,
I used to love it, man.
dude. But so after that,
But that's in Miami? Or
Tampa,
that's
Tampa, yeah. After that, I want to just like chill for a little while and record the LP. Take a break from playing shows and shit, and then in May we're gonna go to Europe. That's gonna be.
fuck.
We're doing that with Red Death, and I'm really fucking excited for that. That's starting to get booked now. We're gonna play like K-Town Hardcore Fest in Copenhagen and a few other fests and do a bunch of shows in Germany, the UK, fucking everywhere. So what?
Not real fast.
I don't know. Do you know if that's still a thing?
Nah, man. Like, I don't think that. Did they do it this year? I remember
don't think
Tom
they did.
talking to me about it, and like Liam was trying to make it into something bigger, maybe. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't think it happened this year.
They seem to have a lot of fests in the UK,
Yeah.
so I assume there's going to be like one around that time. But either way, we're going to play some badass skate with all our friends over there, and it's going to be sick.
What's the one that like bigger more modern hardcore bands play? Like starts with like an O maybe? Outbreak.
Outbreak, yeah.
Outbreak.
Isn't that in May? Wasn't that when we were on tour? Yeah, so that one's in May, I guess. So maybe we'll play that. I don't know.
You
We'll
guys
see.
are playing an after show like that.
Not that I know of.
That's
Yeah.
just them.
Yeah, Standoff's playing. We played one last year and it was fucking sick. The cops came right after we played.
You got the crazy book, dude.
Yeah, that's right. Were you at that show?
Dude, I got there just as the cops got there.
Oh,
So
dude.
I've only seen the pictures.
There's a cool
That's-
story about how the cops were called. There was a kid who wasn't supposed to be there. He wasn't like a kid, he was 25 or something, but he wasn't supposed to be there or something. And his parents came, showed up in the car, like, what the fuck are you doing here? Like, it's way past your bedtime, like curfew or whatever.
A 25-year-old?
He's like, fuck you, mom, and like, you don't understand what I'm doing. And like, they pulled to the side of the road. I saw them making a call like frantically, and like cops just came. I was like, oh, that's cool. Like,
I didn't know that was what fucking
Yeah,
happened.
that was actually Brandon's parents.
Is he working right now? I wish he was here to hear us talking shit. Dude, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
it was really weird.
That show was cool, though.
It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, it was badass.
I'm sure they really taught him a lesson.
Yeah. At age 25.
Yeah.
It's past your bedtime. Grown man.
Still ruined a show for a touring band.
It was crazy. Wasn't there like 4 touring bands on that show, too?
Dude, I think the whole touring band is out of growth.
There was another Florida band on it. Hit List. Yeah, Hit List. So it might have been like 2 touring bands, or 2 local bands and like 4 touring bands or some shit. I don't know. But anyway.
So, how important is like where you guys eat on tour? Is Protester like big into eating? Like,
Absolutely.
give me like the top 3 like most frequent spots.
Chick-fil-A,
Chick-
Wendy's.
Connor's got a history with Wendy's.
Oh, dude.
He's OG Wendy's.
Oh,
Triple OG Wendy's.
Should I let the
Do it.
people know?
All right, let everybody know.
Alright, so okay, when I was a kid, my dad works in advertising for TV, and he was doing a deal for his station with Wendy's, and like I don't exactly know the details, but something happened, and Wendy's gave everybody in his office like $10,000 worth of free Wendy's coupons, like thousands of dollars, right? And so like my mom was in real estate school at the time, so my dad was like, you know, running shit at the house. So every night, my brother and I were like, I was like maybe 9 years old. My brother was like 6. We'd get home, my dad's like, we're going to Wendy's. We'd go to Wendy's like every fucking day for like, oh my God, probably a year and a half before like my mom was like, you have to throw that shit out. Like we can't, like this is like Connor's getting fat, and then nothing happened. I'm still fat, so it's like, nothing ever changed. So,
The hefty game.
yeah, the hefty game was born in Carmel, Indiana in 2002 when I ate Wendy's for a year. And fucking never lost the weight. So,
Do you still love Wendy's?
dude, I had to take a break for years. Like I hated it for years and years and years, and then now I love it. Remember when we had the fry eating contest?
Dude, yeah,
right at that table over there. You remember that shit? That was like, dude, I remember that was the worst I've ever felt in my entire life.
I put down some food in competitions, and that was up there. Not as bad as the Krispy Kreme
Tell them
donut.
about the 20 by 20.
Oh man, this is years ago, 2007. I think it was in California. I think it was in Anaheim or something. I was on tour with my band Permanent at the time, and was challenged by bandmates to eat a 20 by 20 burger at In-N-Out, which would be 20 patties, 20 slices of cheese. They wouldn't serve it to me. So In-N-Out used to do, you can order literally as many as you possibly could eat. But then I guess people were taking pictures and putting them on the internet, and they didn't look up to standards, to In-N-Out standards. So the most you can get is 4 by 4. So I ordered 5 4 by 4s. And ate those. It took like an hour and a half, I think. The first like 12 or the first like 3 like 4 by 4s, awesome. Loved it. I loved every minute of it. After that, pure hell.
That's how I felt with the fries, dude. Like I remember eating like 2 large fries and being like, this is great. Like,
Yeah.
I love this.
I love
And
these fries.
Third and fourth ones, I was like, yo, if I ever see a potato again, I'm gonna fucking kill myself. We both ate 4, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Unbelievable.
Dude,
So
that was...
who really won?
Nobody won. Everybody who watched.
I think it was
won.
you. I think you had won.
Yeah,
I
well,
think-
like we lost because we fucking felt like shit.
We were fat.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's fucking 2 fat guys looking at like a trough eating a
That's
bunch
true.
of fucking fries.
That was
like
so
that was so it was and like, dude, that was great. That's like one of my favorite Newton memories from when I lived here.
Was there any wager? It was just like for bragging rights, right?
There was no money involved.
Yeah.
No money at all.
Like I think John was just like, dude, I'll buy the fries if you do it.
Yeah.
We were like, all right,
Okay.
whatever.
I'm hungry,
Like
yeah.
I was probably like dead broke, and I was like, I need to eat, so I mean, I guess I'll do this. So,
All right, so that's about it for the interview. You guys want to shout out any bands, anything cool? Like, what do you got? 30 seconds.
Pure Disgust, Standoff, Give, No Tolerance, No Tolerance, No Tolerance. Fucking, I don't know. DC Hardcore, Moshers Delight, fucking badass. Thanks for having me, Zach. Crap.
All right, peace out, everybody.
All right.
Show. I got back from New York at 7 in the morning. I drove home listening to Oasis and Crowbar all night.